Hey guys, welcome to the 716 Sports Entertainment Podcast, episode number 53, where we are going to break down Friday Night SmackDown from October the 3rd. And we're going to get right into it because a lot happened on this episode, and they finally kind of had a good episode of SmackDown after we talked a lot of trash last week. Maybe they heard us. But with that, I am Mike with the 716 Sports Entertainment, joined by Mr. Sean O'Neill. And let's talk about that main event, Sean, because that was kind of sort of the driving force, I guess, if you will, behind the whole episode. So, show opened up with a segment between Cody Rhodes, The Vision, and then Randy Orton at the end, which led to a main event match between Cody and Randy and The Vision, which there were a lot of shenanigans, but The Vision won the match. You know, Rollins obviously helped a little bit. Paul Heyman ran interference, but The Vision did pick up the win over our champion. And, you know, as we talked about before, I think Cody and Randy are the biggest stars probably in the company, right? I mean, Roman's a part-timer and Cody and Randy are full-time. And I think, you know, you had, you know, your two guys here in Bron and Bronson pick up a win over those two guys. I think it says a lot for them. But I think it also kind of says a lot for that match that we're going to have in Perth next weekend. So, what are your thoughts?
So I think it's huge that they gave a win to Bron and Bronson of that caliber. I mean, you're beating a world champion and extremely decorated former world champion. I
Mhm.
honestly thought the match was going to end in some sort of DQ finish, like most of the Vision things end up in, um, with Rollins blatantly attacking Cody. But I'm kind of happy to see that they gave him the win. It tells me that the behind the scenes people, Triple H and the story writers, have a lot of faith in Braun and Bronson. And not gonna lie, I like the fact that they have Bronson coming out wearing a Steiner jacket now too. I think that's I really like that. But obviously this all started with the opening segment where Heyman came out and when Randy showed up, basically made the whole thing about Randy rather than Cody.
Mhm.
And I thought that was interesting because I think that this is going to be leading into finally what you and I have been talking about for a while with Cody versus Randy. I think this is the perfect opportunity to be planting those seeds for that turn that's going to be coming. And I think that this is our opportunity to see that happen. The match itself was everything you'd expect from a Vision match. And the way it ended too, I really like the after effects of the match when Heyman was yelling at Rollins not to go into the ring because Cody was in his head. And it turned out that Cody was faking being injured in order to take out Rollins. And then to see Heyman holding back Braun and Bronson, I think that's going to lead to some interesting points being made on Monday on Raw.
Yeah, that is interesting, right? Because do you think that like they're going to do the same thing that they did with Edge in the Judgment Day, where they're going to quietly ask Seth out of the group?
I don't
You
think
know,
yet.
like you think they're going to turn on him?
Eventually, yes. I think this might be just sort of a hint at that. But if you paid attention, Rollins did tell both Braun and Bronson he did not want them going after Cody, that Cody was his. So this could be taken as Heyman just enforcing what Rollins said. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But the fact that Heyman himself told Rollins not to do it and that it was getting into his head, it has me questioning what my pick for next weekend is going to be. Because I originally was all Seth Rollins winning, and now I'm not quite so sure. Because if Cody's in his head, that could lead to Rollins being. We saw it in the previous matches with Cody, how Cody being in his head cost him matches.
Well, I think it makes a lot of sense, right? Like, and I know I'm a bit of a Cody homer, but I think it makes a lot of sense for Cody to win the match and for Rollins to just go completely nuts about it, right? And I think that, you know, say what you want about these annual champion versus champion matches that they do, you know, like it is what it is. You know, these shows are like, you know, it's just they shouldn't really fit like into the timeline, if you will, but like it's fun that they're doing it. And if they can use this to move stories forward, um, I think it helps. And the reason I say I think Cody is going to win is because I think Rollins winning doesn't really help move that story forward. I don't think, right? Whereas I think Cody winning moves both stories forward a little bit. It helps, you can obviously have Randy turn on Cody in that match, and then, you have it probably won't happen, but you could have it happen, and then you get Randy on the Survivor Series team, or similarly, you could have Randy turn at Survivor Series as well onto Cody. That I mean, it's going to happen eventually. We just don't know when it's going to happen. They're not going to turn Cody,
No,
obviously. So Randy is eventually going to turn, but starting to show the cracks with Rollins and the Vision is super interesting to me. And I mean, they've been a force now for I don't know since
3 months.
May. I
Yeah. Oh
mean,
yeah, true.
it's like 5 months now. It's October, So, and I mean, granted, it took a long time for Jay to turn away from Roman, when the whole bloodline thing was going on. But that was a very different story, and I think a very different universe that we were kind of living in at that time. Where we only had one title and we only had like that one set of things going on. So
Before I respond to your point here, though, I don't know if you heard, but apparently Monday Night Raw is going to open with Rollins, or not
mhm.
Rollins, with Reigns, with Roman, and that it's going to be like a 45-minute segment, like alluding back to like the way it used to open with the Bloodline. So I'm very curious to see what that's going to be. I was just reading about that this morning on some of the dirt sheets. But I think you're right. I don't think Randy turns on Cody here though. I think he comes out to even the odds, and it allows Cody to win because you've sort of won me over to the Cody winning side and it making sense because Rollins losing, not only will he go crazy in like regards to having lost to Cody, but he's going to start making like decisions that don't make sense as far as the group goes. And I think that'll allow them to further that storyline too, because he's going to be like,
Bringing in
yeah,
Brock maybe,
yeah, because he's going to be so angry. He's going to be so all that. I don't know if it'll even be Brock. I mean, maybe it'll just be Heyman leading the new Steiners for now. But I just I think it makes the most sense to do it the way that you mentioned. I think an unhinged Rollins, who's a threat to everybody on the roster, is a a good next evolution of his character. And
maybe
you take away everything from him. Like I mentioned, I think last week, you take Becky away from him too. I mean, literally, he loses everything. What does he have left to lose at that point besides the championship?
which he's going to drop to Punk at
Yeah.
WrestleMania, which is
Yep.
going to cause him to go completely insane.
Yep. And I
Which
think
I
that's a
I'm
fantastic
I'm
story.
I'm here for, right? I am here for him losing to Punk at WrestleMania. I think it's going to be great.
Or you can
It's
even
going
tie
to be
you can
great.
even tie Becky into it and have Becky lose her title to AJ, and they both go crazy. They
I
become
mean,
like a crazy hermit couple.
yeah, I mean, Becky is going to lose her title to AJ. I think, but that will happen probably before Seth loses to CM Punk. But I
Yep.
mean, Becky is absolute. It's unfortunate that we didn't do this a couple of weeks ago, and we're not having this match in Perth, but we'll probably have that match at Survivor Series. I would think, like I think AJ and Becky is like it's as guaranteed of a match is going to be. I wouldn't be surprised if actually AJ gets herself involved in the match. Isn't Becky supposed to have a match with Maxine or something like that? And AJ will probably get herself involved in the finish of that match, I would imagine.
I know that they had some sort of confrontation backstage where Becky was like being nasty to Maxine and Tozawa, so it wouldn't
Mhm.
surprise me.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's fun that the main event scene is picking up. And obviously, once we get past this Australia show, Cody and Seth will go away from each other for a little while and they'll start doing their own things. And I know Punk is supposed to be, and I think it's probably a good thing that they kept Punk away from Rollins for right now.
Yeah.
I know he's going to be on TV on Monday, but like, you can't have Punk looming there with Rollins if like you're gonna try and do this Cody match as well, which is why like I don't really I mean I get why they're doing this match, but at the same time, like you didn't really need to do this match, but
So here's
it's
2 points for you.
it's
Um,
fine.
One, I think the reason they do this match now, and I kind of like that they do it with this Crown Jewel show, is because it allows them to not do the champion versus champion matches at Survivor Series like they used to. So this gives them another show to actually utilize for that, and that allows them to do the War Game stuff for Survivor Series. But here's
Mhm.
a question for you: do you think Punk and Roman have a mini program before Punk goes back to Rollins?
No,
No.
no, they're both faces.
Okay. I didn't know. I mean, with Roman having a big thing, I was wondering if maybe Punk, that's when Punk would come out on Monday too.
Who wins that match?
Yeah, true.
You know what I
Could
mean?
lead, could lead
You
to
can't,
Jay having some sort of thing.
you can't, you can't you can't give either one of those guys a high profile loss right now, right?
So
Like, you know,
then do we think it's Roman Jay?
which they already did. And I don't,
No,
you know,
to
they
continue
did that
this.
that was at SummerSlam, right? Or no, not SummerSlam. When did Roman and Jay team up? It was one of the shows. Was it Money in the Bank? Roman and Jay teamed up against the Vision and they
No,
won.
I mean Roman and Jay in a program with each other.
Not yet.
No,
That's a
I'm real
WrestleMania thing
curious where the.
because Roman just gave Jay encouragement, you know, and I think it's gonna be a while until we get the Roman Jay pro. We will get it, but it's gonna be a while until that
So the
happens.
problem we have then is with this everything going on for this Perth show. Where do we have any of the rest of these stories? You know what I mean?
What is that? That was gonna be my question for you. Is what are we doing with Roman? Are we just gonna do another throwaway match with the Vision? Is he gonna have a
It's
one
not
on
just
one?
Roman though; it's multiple people.
Maybe I mean you have a lot of people involved in this bubble with which you can build a Survivor Series match. You know, like you got a lot of things go like you have a lot of moving parts right now to with which you can build a Survivor Series match. You know, you've got, you know, if you want to talk about all of the bloodline people, right? Like you've got,
Yeah,
I mean, forget Solo and his group because no one knows what's going on there, right? But
I have a point about that.
you know, but
Once we once we talk about it,
you've got Jacob and Drew, right?
yeah,
Like that's a thing. You know, you've got Roman, Jimmy and Jay, who are kind of like weird. Jimmy and Jay are like slowly getting weird with each other. You've got, you know, the Vision. You've got Cody. You've got Punk. You've got Randy. Like, you know, you've got, I don't know, you've got a ton of faces, right? And then you've
yeah,
got three, maybe four, if you want to include Drew, heels, right? So, like, I don't think you have enough heels in this program, whereas you have too many faces in this program, too many big time faces, right? Like Randy, Cody, CM Punk, Jimmy, Jay, Roman. They're all like involved in this like world together. And it's really just the Vision and Drew
yeah.
as is the villains, you know? So it's almost like you need to switch somebody.
How many? What is Survivor Series?
November, late November.
It is late November, so we have what, probably 8 weeks then for them
No,
to
you've got a
build.
Saturday night's main event like in
Yes,
three.
Saturday night's main events are throwaway though.
That's true.
They basically have 8 weeks to build their Survivor Series. I have no doubt whatever happens at Saturday Night Main Event will be involved in the build of Survivor Series. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you'll have a throwaway championship match in there somewhere. Probably, you know, Seth or one of the two, Seth or Cody will defend their title there. Somebody will, right? And
Yeah,
it'll be a throwaway match. Maybe that's where you do the AJ versus Becky match. I don't know.
I'd be fine with that. It's a big match to put on free television.
Yeah.
Brings a lot of eyes to it.
Yeah.
Um, and helps you with, especially if you're going to do a like a women's Survivor Series match, women's War Game match. You can use that to build towards it. But
Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about that later
yeah,
because I
no, let's
it
get back on SmackDown.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, so that's where we are, right? Like this whole universe with in and around these titles, like it's interesting, but I just think that like the balance of power, the balance of heels versus faces is like not where it needs to be.
The scales are very offset.
Yeah, there's too many faces right now. Too many big time faces right
Yeah,
now. It's almost like you need to like break some of these people away a little bit. Like you've got all of the bloodline, the Roman bloodline versus the Vision on Raw, and then you've got Cody and Randy and going against the Vision on SmackDown, right? Like it's too much. It's almost like the Vision needs another person.
yeah, they need that fourth person.
So, I mean, I don't count Becky because like Becky can't be
No,
involved with the men's stuff.
the fourth man they need.
Yeah. So let's get into the rest of the episode, and then we'll give some more thoughts on like where we think that everything goes from here when we get to the end of the show. So, we had another U.S. Open challenge. Um, I have mixed feelings on this, but I want to get your take. So Sami Zayn came out, and it was originally going to be Carmelo Hayes, but he was attacked by the Miz with the skull crushing finale, like right in the entrance ramp because of an altercation they had earlier in the night. And he had a match with Aleister Black, which Aleister Black is another one like Rusev. The crowd is just not interested at all. Like they make no noise when this dude comes out. I mean, the match was great to be expected because both guys are awesome. I know you don't like Sami Zayn all that much, but Sami Zayn did pick up the win after Damian Priest came out and kind of like interfered, if you will. And yeah, Sami Zayn hit the haluva kick followed by a blue thunder bomb and picked up the win. And then Priest afterwards puts Aleister Black through a table, so that program is obviously not done. But what were your opinions on the match and then the post match, I guess, and then
So,
everything I said about Black?
so even before that, we had the backstage segment where Carmelo Hayes basically broke up with Miz and their tag team.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew the second that he said, "Well, I normally shoot first," that Miz was going to attack him and whatever he did.
Mm-hmm.
So for that portion, I will give them credit that they're finally pulling the trigger and ending that tag team. They've been doing the exact same thing with that tag team for the last like 4 weeks, ever since Miz came back. And at least now we'll be able to move Carmelo Hayes onto other things. Because the guy is an incredible athlete. He's a great performer. And it'd be nice to actually see him not, and mind you, I like the Miz, but not weighed down by the anchor that is the Miz.
I mean,
Um,
he could be the one to take that title off of Sami Zayn. That would be a lot
I
of
can
fun.
see that. Um, they would need to rebuild him back up first, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said, I like the Miz personally, but the Miz is that guy who you need when you need a guy to put on a good match and lose. That's the Miz.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but so I'm fine with how that happened. Aleister Black coming out kind of surprised me because I knew we still have the him and Priest going back and forth with him how he's been attacking Priest backstage for the last several like months. The match was great, and I've been saying it the last couple weeks now. I think as much as I don't like Sami Zayn, I think the U.S. Open Challenge is the right way to use him because it
Mm-hmm.
showcases how good of a wrestler Sami Zayn is,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't require him to be doing that stupid underdog gimmick in every single match. Um, and I also really like the fact that he's now winning his matches with the Haluva kick followed up by the Blue Thunder Bomb. It's almost like they're trying to make the Blue Thunder Bomb matter again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I mean, once Aleister Black was the opponent, I'm not surprised that Priest interfered. And I will say though that I'm glad that it sounds like we're finally going to get a resolution to that particular feud next week with a last man standing match. And
Black has to win, right?
I don't know because Black's won every match between these two.
No,
I thought he did.
no. Priest won one of them. Priest won one of the
Okay.
PLEs.
Okay, then if Priest won one, yes, Black needs to win. But for some reason, I was thinking that Black had won every one of them. Yeah, then Black needs to win, and they need to move Black on to potentially higher up the card, like the talk had been.
What do you think about the fact that the crowd doesn't give a crap about Aleister Black.
I think that's due to the fact that he's been in a 4 month story with Damian Priest. And that story has been like a holding pattern of we've been seeing Aleister Black the last 3 weeks. The only thing we've been seeing of him is him popping up and interrupting Black's toxic masculinity talk with Kit and kicking Damian in the head. Like we haven't been seeing Black doing actual matches. We haven't been seeing Black doing things other than that. And I think it's the crowd was tired of that. You know what I mean? I think the fact that we're going to get him a resolution to this never-ending feud. It's like the feud between Nia and Tiffany. Like you can only
Never.
have these things. Yeah, you can only have these things go on so long before people are just tired of it. And I like Damian Priest, but there's no reason this feud has needed to go on for 4 months.
Yeah. No, I would agree.
I think
But yeah, I
mid-card
mean,
feuds should be 2 months at most.
yeah. No, I would agree with that. Um, so something else I wanted to get into, and I guess I get it because it's a wrestling show, and not every single thing needs to like advance stories forward. And you can kind of quasi try to put some story into it, like, the next women's match, which is kind of gonna be like your next tag team shot at Charlotte and Alexa. But is it just me, or does Raw and SmackDown just do a lot of kind of like random matches just like for the hell of it that come out of nowhere? And it's like, well, we need to put matches on TV, and we don't really do a good job at storytelling, I think. And I'm really not trying to be like negative with everything here, but like there were two examples of it on this show that just completely came out of nowhere with people who were doing other things, you know, in this instance, both were NXT people who are involved in other things with Solru and Zarya and then Javon Evans as well later on. So we had Solru and Zarya defeating Alba Fire and Chelsea Green, which, to their credit, the Soul Snatcher is one of the coolest moves like ever. It's absolutely fantastic, but kind of pointless, right? Like,
So normally I would say that they do need to have filler matches because they do have to fill time. However, when it comes to with these NXT people, I think that it's good to use them as showcase to see how crowds are going to react to them if they get called up. And I think that in the case of both of them, I mean, we'll talk about the Javon one later, but in regards to this one with the Sol Ruka and Zarya, not only are we going to get them versus Alexa and Charlotte at some point, but it also showcases the fact that Sol Ruka is the NXT North American Women's Champion and the Women's Speed Champion. So she got two belts. You're showing that off because not a lot of people even pay attention to like the speed thing. I will occasionally read the highlights about it, but um that stuff. And my other hope is that bringing these two women up allows us to fix that women's roster on SmackDown.
yeah, that's fair. I will give you that because that women's roster does need a lot of help, which will be highlighted in our next segment. Which, Jesus, dude, just Julia, just go to AEW. Just
No, I disagree.
go to AEW because they are just shitting all over her. It is just gross how they are just shitting all over Julia. First, let's talk about that contract signing between Stephanie. Or I mean, there's not even anything to say. They did a contract signing between Stephanie and Tiffany, and it was nothing. It was an
Yeah,
absolute nothing segment. Like, oh, you're great. I will beat you. Oh no, you're great, but it's Tiffy time, and I will win.
yeah,
Yay!
I didn't
Zero,
get that. Like, why?
zero,
Why?
0 point to that at all. Thankfully, Julia and Kiana James came out, and I was like, oh, this is exciting. Like, Julia is like in the main event thing here for a second, right? And maybe we could do a program with Julia and Tiffany, like after the fact, because Julia laid her out, and
Yep.
that was really cool. But then like, they just beat their asses after that. And then there's gonna be a match next week, before the Perth show. And Julia and Kiana James will lose to Stephanie and Tiffany because of course they will. They're the champions. They should beat them. But it's like, what the hell are we doing? Just poor Julia. Just go to AEW,
So
please.
I think if they do lose, it's going to be Kiana James that takes the pin because that obviously makes the most sense. But I think WWE would be smart to have Julia pin Tiffany. I think you have Julia pin Tiffany, and you immediately have a ready-made program for right after Perth.
Champion versus champion.
Yeah, and you want to fix what's going on with Julia. You have her to be the one that beats Tiffany. Have her become a dual champion.
That would be fun. That would be
Like,
really cool.
and
I don't
you
think they're gonna do it.
automatically no, but
They're
you
not gonna do it.
automatically fix. They might. You notice that yeah, the faces in this segment technically stood strong, but all Julia got hit with was one attempted move by Stephanie, and she didn't even get to pull the move off. You know what I mean? So Julia, I don't think in this segment took a major hit. I think that the point is that Kiana James is obviously the weak link in this thing, and at some point Julia is going to understand that and boot her ass to the curb. But I think WWE would be smart to have Julia pin Tiffany next week.
Yeah, I mean, it would be fun. I don't think they're going to do it leading into that champion versus champion match. You're probably right about Kiana James getting pinned, but it's just, I don't know. I don't, they've done what since Julia has left NXT, WWE has done nothing with her, and it's been frankly embarrassing. And
Yeah.
I want her to go somewhere where she's showcased because people don't realize how good she is. Like she's so good, and
We
she's just getting frapped all over.
I've been saying it for weeks. It's because they don't have anybody to showcase her against. I mean, yeah, you could put her in the ring with BFAB and Mishin, but at that point, you're just beating up BFAB and Mishin. And I like Mishin, but it's, you're expected to beat them up. You know what I mean? Like, you're
Yeah.
expected to retain titles against them. Like I said, we've been talking about it for weeks. I brought it up several weeks ago. The lack of women on the SmackDown roster is what is killing Julia's run. And like, where's Zelina Vega been? I mean, is she hurt? Like, I know, yeah, that she's not going to beat Julia, but I'd almost rather see her going up against her again. Um, I think, I think regardless of who wins or loses next Friday, I think we do get a program between Tiffany and Julia.
Well, I hope so. I hope you're right. I don't have a lot of faith in it. Um, we did
But you're
have,
right.
yeah, we did have a pre-taped vignette from Jacob Fatu going off about why he attacked Drew, which was cool. That'll be a great program between those two
Yep.
guys. They're beefcakes, and like they will just beat the piss out of each other. And I think it'll be a great match, great feud, and it gives both
Who
of them
wins?
something to do for a couple months. Probably when it's all done, Jacob.
Because like I think Drew needs some big wins. The guy hasn't won anything big matches really.
I think Drew can afford to lose and like be fine. I think you can't bury Jacob right now. Jacob eventually needs to be a world champion.
Yeah,
Jacob is low key one of my picks to win the Royal Rumble. Like I think it'd be a
yeah.
lot of fun if he won the Royal Rumble. Hell, you
As a
even have.
dark horse pick, yeah.
I mean, I still think the big match is Randy versus Cody and CM Punk versus Seth. But like, man, it would be cool if you had Jacob versus Cody and Jacob win. That would be
Yeah.
friggin' sweet. And then the last match we had on the show was another just kind of filler match. But to your point about getting NXT people on the roster, we had Ray Phoenix, which let's talk about him for a minute. And Javon Evans, who you've said this and I've said this too. I think Javon Evans is incredible.
He's
Like,
the
dude
future.
what is he, like 22 years old? And he's
Yeah, he's
like,
like 21, 22.
he's incredible. And they defeated Los Garza by a pinfall after Ray Phoenix hit the Mexican Muscle Buster on Humberto Carrillo. And I mean, Javon Evans was flying all over the place. It was just like, it was absolutely awesome. I love watching this kid wrestle. He's so good. And yeah, I mean, it was what it was. But yeah, Javon Evans is really something else. But let's talk about Ray Phoenix for a minute here. Like, what are we doing with this dude? Like, what are we doing with this dude?
So Ray Phoenix is an interesting subject. They obviously he came in a lot of fanfare and all that, do it as well as they did. Then they had him lose that random qualifying match, and that set him back a little bit, I think. He 100% should have been in Money at the Bank. Then they put him in that tag team with Andrade that was just on fire, not losing matches. They were winning everything. And I was pretty sure that they were going to be world champions as the tag team. Then Andrade did Andrade things and went blonde and went AEW again. And that kind of left, I think, WWE in a little bit of a lurch with what to do with Phoenix. Um, because obviously you had these plans with them as this tag team. So we got a match with Sami Zayn as an open challenge, which you know what, fantastic. Showcase both of them. Good, a loss there doesn't hurt him. He's losing to a champion. I would not be surprised if Phoenix and Javon Evans become a permanent tag team, and they just work the plans that they had for Phoenix and Andrade as Phoenix and Javon instead, which
Yeah,
I'd be fine with.
I see it. And actually, I would be okay with you putting the titles on them, to be honest with you. You need to rebuild Ray Phoenix because you've not done a good job like you did with Penta with him. Like Penta's a star, right? I mean,
Yeah.
they present Penta like a star, and Penta's fun, and people really get behind Penta, but nobody seems to give a crap. Like when it was Ray Phoenix initially, I was like, oh, what's Dragon Lee doing here?
Yep.
You know?
I thought that too as soon as he popped out.
Yeah, I was like, and then I was like, oh, wait a minute, I forgot this dude's on the roster, you know?
Um, the
So
problem with Phoenix though is he's been a victim of circumstance, I think. I don't think it's really a WWE failure. I think it's just a failure of everything that happened to go on. You know what I mean?
yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
Or we can just blame Andrade.
Yeah. So overall, that was SmackDown. So what is your final rating for the show, and are you looking forward to the Perth show next weekend?
Before we get to that, what do you think's going on with the solo group, the family tree? Do you think they're building back up and the missing piece that he mentioned is going to end up being Tama, or do you think it's going to be someone else?
Oh, I have no idea.
Because I feel like they're building to something with that, and I think once they get that built, we're going to see something big from them.
I don't think we're going to see anything big from them. I think we're just going to be disappointed, and maybe they'll
Okay.
go after the tag team titles, but I think that's kind of the end of it.
Okay.
I think Solo's days at the top of the roster are done.
Okay. Well, just wanted your thought on it real quick. Overall, I liked the show. It honestly was probably the best SmackDown show in 2 months. Um, I'd give it the three and a half. Seeing the nice showcase of the NXT talent was great, and the main event of the Steiner Bros versus Legacy was definitely fun. Um, but yeah, I'd give it probably a three and a half. I enjoyed it, and I'm definitely looking forward to Perth. I know it's more or less a throwaway show on the road to Survivor Series, but I'm looking forward to maybe gaining some ground on you in our predictions.
Yeah, you and Reese both got to do that. You guys are down by three, so
Hey,
it's
I
gonna
caught up to Reese, so
it's gonna be a lot. So that is our episode. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Please hit that like and subscribe button if you like our content and you want to see more of it. Let us know what you guys think about the show, and let us know what you guys think about what is going to happen at Perth. We really look forward to hearing to it, and we respond to every comment that gets put on these videos. And with that, have yourselves a fantastic day and take care.